Hello, friend. Peace be with you. Today, let me share a story from long ago. A tale of dreams, betrayal, and forgiveness. It's the story of Joseph and his coat of many colors. In the land of Canaan lived a man named Jacob, also known as Israel. He had 12 sons, but his favorite was Joseph. Joseph was a special young man, wise beyond his years, and Jacob loved him dearly. To show his affection, Jacob made Joseph a beautiful coat, a coat of many colors. Now you can imagine how this made Joseph's brothers feel. They were already jealous of Joseph because of Jacob's favor, and this coat only fueled their resentment. They saw it as a sign that Joseph was being elevated above them. But the coat wasn't the only thing that stirred up trouble. Joseph had vivid dreams that he shared with his brothers. In one dream, they were all binding sheaves of wheat in the field, and Joseph's sheaf stood upright while theirs bowed down to it. In another dream, the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed down to him. Indeed, they did cause tension. Joseph didn't realize how his words would affect his brothers. They saw these dreams as Joseph claiming he would one day rule over them. Their jealousy turned into hatred, and they began to plot against him. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers, who were tending the flocks in Dothan. When they saw him coming from afar, they conspired to kill him. "Here comes that dreamer," they said. "We'll say a wild animal devoured him. Then we'll see what becomes of his dreams." The human heart can be swayed by envy and anger. But Reuben, the eldest brother, had a change of heart. He convinced them not to kill Joseph directly, but to throw him into an empty cistern instead, secretly planning to rescue him later. So when Joseph arrived, they seized him, tore off his beautiful coat, and threw him into the pit. Then, as they sat down to eat, they saw a caravan of Ishmaelites heading to Egypt. Judah, another brother, suggested they sell Joseph to the Ishmaelites instead of killing him. They agreed, and for 20 pieces of silver, Joseph was sold into slavery. Joseph was taken away to Egypt. Meanwhile, the brothers took Joseph's coat, slaughtered a goat, and dipped the coat in its blood. They brought the coat back to Jacob and asked him to identify it. Jacob could see the coat was Joseph's and was overcome with grief. He believed Joseph had been killed by a wild animal, and he mourned for his son for many days. In Egypt, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, the captain of the guard. The Lord was with Joseph, and he prospered. Potiphar saw that the Lord was with him and put him in charge of his entire household. But Joseph's troubles were far from over. Potiphar's wife took a liking to Joseph and tried to seduce him. Joseph, being a righteous man, refused her advances. Angered by his rejection, she falsely accused him of trying to assault her. Potiphar, believing his wife, had Joseph thrown into prison. Even in prison, the Lord was with Joseph. The warden was impressed by Joseph's character and put him in charge of the other prisoners. One day, Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, who had offended the Pharaoh, were thrown into the same prison. Each of them had a dream, and Joseph, with God's help, interpreted their dreams. Yes, it was a gift from God. Joseph told the cupbearer that he would be restored to his position, and he told the baker that he would be executed. And as Joseph had predicted, it all came to pass. 2 years later, Pharaoh had a dream that troubled him greatly. None of his magicians or wise men could interpret it. Then the cupbearer remembered Joseph and told Pharaoh about his ability to interpret dreams. Pharaoh summoned Joseph from prison. Joseph told Pharaoh that God had revealed to him what he was about to do. He explained that the dream meant there would be 7 years of great abundance in Egypt, followed by 7 years of severe famine. Joseph advised Pharaoh to appoint someone to gather and store food during the years of plenty to prepare for the famine. Indeed, Joseph saved Egypt. Pharaoh was impressed by Joseph's wisdom and appointed him as governor over all of Egypt. Joseph, now a powerful man, oversaw the collection of grain during the 7 years of abundance. When the famine struck, Egypt had plenty of food, and people from all over the world came to buy grain from Joseph. Now, the famine also affected Canaan, where Jacob and his sons lived. When Jacob heard that there was grain in Egypt, he sent his sons to buy some. Little did they know that they would be standing before their long-lost brother. When Joseph saw his brothers, he recognized them, but they did not recognize him. He tested them to see if they had changed. After a series of trials, Joseph revealed himself to his brothers. They were terrified, fearing his revenge. But Joseph, filled with God's grace, forgave them. He said, "Do not be distressed, and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant on earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance." It is an incredible act of forgiveness. Joseph brought his entire family to Egypt, where they lived in the land of Goshen and prospered under his care. Jacob lived to see his grandchildren and died in Egypt at a ripe old age. Joseph's story is a powerful reminder that even in the midst of betrayal and suffering, God is at work. What was intended for evil, God turned into good. Joseph's coat of many colors, once a symbol of envy and division, became a symbol of God's providence and Joseph's eventual triumph. We learn the importance of forgiveness, the power of dreams, and the unwavering faithfulness of God. Just as Joseph forgave, we too must forgive those who have wronged us. We must trust that God has a plan for our lives, even when we cannot see it. And we must remember that God can turn even the darkest of circumstances into something beautiful. So, let the story of Joseph and his coat of many colors inspire you to live a life of faith, forgiveness, and trust in God's divine plan. Go now and carry this story in your heart. Peace be with you. Please like, share, and subscribe to help this channel spread the word. Amen.